Sacred woman I am, with bare feet I walk across the river stones, with water in my blood and the earth in my bones. I tend a fire in my heart so I am never alone. Sacred woman I am.
Hello everyone, this is Michela from Heart Alchemy, and as promised, this is the last video of this series called Rite of Passage, Breaking the Silence Around Menopause. In this video, I wanted to share my story on a physical, emotional and spiritual level of my journey through perimenopause, because at the moment I am going through perimenopause. So going back a few years, I don't remember when exactly, maybe 2-3 years, I started to notice symptoms, but I didn't notice the pattern back then. So I was only experiencing the certain symptoms that would come and go randomly, and I didn't put the things together, and I didn't realize I was in perimenopause because I am still bleeding. So so what happened was that eventually I started to notice patterns in the way these symptoms manifested in my life, in my body, in my emotional body, in my mental body, and my spiritual body as well. So starting from the physical, I noticed that the symptoms would come mainly would only come the last 2 weeks of my moon month. So basically they would come between my ovulation time and the first day of my moon blood, my period. And when I realized the pattern, I started to think, okay, I am in that age, and my friends are going through perimenopause or menopause. Maybe this is perimenopause. And so I started to notice the patterns, because the patterns, were happening in these 2 last weeks of my month, and things started to shift within, so inside of myself and outside of myself as well. But starting from the physical, the symptoms that I was experiencing were severe depression and anxiety coming up randomly in the last 2 weeks of my month, and I didn't know why they were coming up, and I felt this depression, this anxiety, even waking up in the middle of the night and feeling anxious for no reason. And then I started to have physical symptoms like pain in my joints, not all my joints, just specific joints in my body that obviously are connected to my energy field as well, but we'll talk about that later. So in my physical body, I was experiencing these bits and pieces of things, and like mostly joint, it felt like a joint inflammation. It was like a little bit of pain, and it was always coming in these 2 weeks. And then other symptoms were adding up to the symptoms I already had. And eventually last December, I went to see my GP, and we had a long talk about the symptoms I was having, about hormones, about perimenopause and menopause. And we had a beautiful conversation that went a little bit into the energetic body as well, which was a surprise, and it was beautiful to me. But I think because she knows I am a yoga and meditation teacher, so she knows, how to talk to me about certain things. Anyway, so we had this beautiful conversation. She asked me so many questions. She explained so many things, and she said to me, "You are in perimenopause." I left the office of my GP's clinic, and on the way home, I didn't feel any sadness or fear. I just felt joy, and I felt like acceptance of knowing that fine, I know, like, not that I didn't know, but somehow now I can ground that this experience of perimenopause and embrace it and embody it and work with it. So in my GP we discussed different things, and we also discussed hormone replacement therapy. And then I went home, and and this was last December. And I was in this energy of perimenopause, and listening to my body, into my energy field. Sorry. And yes, and then I was having lunch on the 1st of January with my husband. We went out for lunch on the 1st of January. And while we were having lunch, and I was explaining to him, what the way I've been feeling, why all these symptoms, and communication was really key for me, not only in my relationship with my husband, but also in my other relationships. So communicating the way I'm feeling and why I'm feeling in a certain way on specific days. And I said to my husband that I wanted to work with women going through perimenopause and menopause, because I thought, and I felt, and I deeply feel this is where I want to be at this time, embracing fully who I am, who I am becoming, and work and help women, other women along the way. So this is my physical part. And also for my physical part, I'd like to say that, when the doctor told me you are in perimenopause, and she suggested hormone replacement therapy, I said yes. I said yes, because even though I am a very holistic person, I always go and look for many, many things before actually, deciding to take on something. It could be, could be anything, from Ayurveda, from traditional Chinese medicine, or from energy healing. But I said yes to hormone replacement therapy because the way I was feeling was basically paralyzing. So I felt for 2 weeks, every month I felt paralyzed. I couldn't do anything. And so obviously hormone replacement therapy doesn't change the fact you're going through perimenopause, but it can alleviate some of the symptoms. And and while some of my symptoms get alleviated by hormones, I can look into other things and and see where I want to go, what I want to use to help me move through the symptoms of perimenopause. And so basically, yeah, this is the physical part, and then on an energetic part, obviously my emotional body is connected to my physical body, and my physical body is connected to my emotional and mental body. So all these ups and downs in my emotions, I knew they were happening because of the passage I am in, the passage I'm moving through at this time of my life. And so on a spiritual level, the pieces of the puzzle I was staring at for the last, I don't know how many years, they started to come together, slowly come together. And I realized many different things. I realized that a while back I felt I was on a threshold, and not only physically and emotionally, but also spiritually. And I felt this threshold in the presence of Mother Mary inside of myself, and Mother Mary, the expression of Mother Mary outside of me as well. And I feel myself on this threshold with Mother Mary at the moment. And I know she's with me while I'm moving through perimenopause. And I know she's helping me to understand where I am, what I have to do, how my spiritual path is unfolding, and where I am going with this work that I am doing. And she was getting me ready to meet a different goddess, a goddess I worked with in the past, but in a different dimension, a different energy, from a different energy. This goddess I'm prepared to meet again is Mary Magdalene, but not Mary Magdalene as the mother, but Mary Magdalene in the crown years. So Mary Magdalene in her menopause years, and the way she was at that time when she walked here on earth, and the spiritual teachings she was bringing forth, and she was anchoring on the earth through those years, the menopause years. So at the moment I feel very much that I'm working with Mother Mary, and I am on this threshold, but I'm actually quickly moving towards the menopause energy, and I know that in that passage, in the menopause passage, I'm going to meet Mary Magdalene, the crone, and work with her in a different way. So I don't know exactly how the path is going to unfold. I don't know how she's going to come into my life again. But on a spiritual perspective, this is what's happening to me. I'm working with the energy of Mother Mary, and then I'm getting ready to meet Mary Magdalene the crone. Obviously, I work with different goddesses and different energies. And at the core, I know within myself, at the core of my being, there is this immutable energy that doesn't change. It's oneness, and it's pure divine love. And from that energy, different energies come forth. But because I'm working with this, with these different energies, I see the different aspects of this oneness, of this core within me. And at the moment, it's Mother Mary and other goddesses, but mainly Mother Mary, and another goddess from the Hindu tradition that I cannot mention yet because she has me not to say anything about her, but I'm working with this goddess and as well, and I know my path is moving towards, meeting Mary Magdalene the crone. And when I am with Mary Magdalene, in the energy of the menopause years, I know it's going to be different because, obviously I'm going to be different, and she's going to bring forth a different energy for me. But also she's going to get me ready at the end of menopause, when I'll move to post-menopause, to work with a different energy, the energy of the Black Madonna. So while I was talking to one of my teachers, she said to me that, it's like you are on the threshold at the door of this beautiful temple or cathedral, and you're there with Mother Mary. When you're going to enter the church, you're going to be there with Mary Magdalene. When you're going to move from the church into the Holy of Holies, the sacred space within the most sacred space within this cathedral, this temple, you're going to meet the Black Madonna. And this is basically how my spiritual journey is evolving, from Mother Mary to Mary Magdalene to the Black Madonna. And I know the way I worked with them in the past was different. And I know, I actually don't fully know, but I feel what's going to happen in a way. But I don't want to focus on the future. I just want to focus on the moment where I am now in this threshold with Mother Mary and the other beautiful goddesses I work with. There is an energy as well that was coming through a while back, and they started to come through around 2013 and 2014, before my father passed away. And these energies are connected to the energy of Mary Magdalene the crone as well. And I'm going to talk more about that energy and the lineage within the lineage. And as some of you know, I'm from a lineage called the Rose lineage, or the Mary Magdalene lineage, or the Graal lineage. I mean, I heard many different names, but the main name is the Rose lineage. But in that lineage, there is another lineage. So I'm in the lineage within. I'm in the lineage that is in the lineage. So it's like there is this work that many women are bringing forth through the rose energy, through the rose lineage, but there is another energy inside of this lineage, and I'm going to talk about that in the coming months. And so these energies that were coming through, the energies of the Elohim, the angels of creation, are connected to that energy and to the energy of Mary Magdalene the Crone. I'm going to talk more about that in the coming months. At the moment, I'm just going to leave that. I'm going to leave it at, at that. So yeah, perimenopause, menopause is not always an easy journey. It brings with it a deep emotional charge. It's like the summation of all our experiences and knowledge coming up and becoming one. And with that, with all these experiences and knowledge that we have gathered throughout the years, since the moment we were born, you can imagine how much there is in it, and there's beauty and there is power and there is something that I cannot quite express, but there is a lot of beauty and a lot of power in it, and sacredness. But there is also a lot of pain. For me, grief was one of the things as well that was coming up, and I know a lot of many women going through menopause are experiencing grief. Grief because of choices we made, and I'm not a mother. Well, I'm a mother for my cat, but I'm not physically, I never gave birth, and that was my choice in this life. And although I made the conscious choice of not becoming a mother in this life until the time of perimenopause, I always had that option, even if I didn't want it. Now that the option is gone, there is grief that is coming up with that. And so you can imagine how much pain and at the same time beauty can make us confused, can make us, feel so much, and that we cannot express it sometimes, it is a lot. And that's why I want to dedicate this part of my life to work with women going through the same thing. First of all, because I understand how it feels. I do. And then because I have the knowledge and the skills and the wisdom to help not only myself, but other women on the same path. And so I've created Rite of Passage. And Rite of Passage is not just a series of interviews, it's a whole portal for women going through these transition years, where we can work together and, and help each other somehow. And if you go on my website on www.heartalchemyinstitute.com, you'll see in the menu the option to click on menopause. You click there and you'll see all the offerings I have put together, I'm still putting together to help women through menopause. And these offerings are yoga for menopause, meditation, full moon and new moon meditations, and I have Rite of Passage ceremonies, which are really, really important. I actually dedicated my 2023 as to my Rite of Passage. It was a Rite of Passage for me, and experience, to move from the mother to the crone. And so I did rituals, I met shamans, and I worked with myself in 2023, and I went through a very long Rite of Passage. Obviously, the one I'm doing now for other women is a ceremony, and it can take 1 hour or 2 hours, it depends. And then I also do womb blessings to help women again going through these transition years. I just want to say also that I don't belong to any school. I am from the Rose lineage, but the teachings I'm bringing forth are the teachings of the Divine Mother that are coming through me, that I am channeling through her. So, and every time I work with a woman, I channel a specific energy, because every woman is different. Every woman comes to me with her story, her energy, and her experiences, her wisdom. And so there's no script for a rite of passage or a womb blessing. Every woman is different, and every woman is going to receive something different through the ceremony. When I do one-to-one, obviously I also do circles. So in circles, the energy is going to be different again, and every circle is different. And you can ask women who have participated in these womb blessings, for example, how each circle changes and how different the energy is, because obviously the dynamics of the group is different. The people in the group are different. And yes, so anyway, I don't want to take too much time. I'm getting too long, but yes, this is my rite of passage. This is my life. This is where I am at the moment, and I know I shared only a little, and I'm going to share more in the coming months. But yes, this is where I want to. This is what I wanted to say. And so please watch these interviews. The women I interviewed are amazing. These women are not only committed to the path, but they're also women that walk their talk. And, sometimes, it's very difficult to find women that actually, walk their talk. Anyway, yeah, I've been blessed to have met these beautiful women. I am blessed to have them in my life. And I'm blessed to have other women in my life, friends that are supporting me. And I'm also blessed to have my husband with me, where, as someone who I can talk to and communicate with constantly about the way I feel. And he's been supportive and loving and caring. I mean, he's always like that. But even more now that I'm moving through, a passage, a new phase of my life. So I want to thank my mom, because, she told me about her menopause years and how it was for her. So having that knowledge with me, gave me a lot of comfort. And yeah, so yeah, please watch, share, like, comment, and get in touch. I'd love to work with you. Blessings.
Sacred woman I am. With bare feet I walk across the river stones. Water in my blood and the earth in my bones. I tend a fire in my heart, so I am never alone. Sacred woman I am.